Hello, welcome back to the Villa View for a match preview for Villa's game at Villa Park against Millwall at 3 o'clock on Saturday. I'm joined by Thomas Julian for this preview, fresh from completing our podcast recording. So, Tom, Millwall, how you see it?
Do you know what? I feel really confident about this game. I've coming off the back of Friday, where we showed fight to get back into after a really drab first half against Leeds. I wouldn't say we took the game to them at all, and we didn't play out of our skin, but we did show, especially after Grealish and Lansbury came on, that Villa have another dimension and they can step it up a gear. I mean, I just feel like Millwall are there for the taking. Their away form is not good. Their actual general form isn't particularly good either. Neil Harris has been all praising of Steve Bruce. They're obviously doing a decent job, Millwall, to come up from League One and being competitive. But I think Villa have enough to see this one off. And to be honest, I don't think it's going to be close.
I think when you say they're not on good form, I'd say that the form that they have is expected. They'd be expected to be around the relegation mix, and they're not cut adrift or anything like that. So I'd say they'd be happy with their form so far this season.
They look better because they won the weekend. They beat Sheffield United, which is an excellent result at home, 3-1. So that's great. But before that, they hadn't won in 4 or 5 games, I don't think. And I mean, they'd drawn a couple of games, and games that they should be winning. For example, a game against Sunderland, they drew 2-2 with the most woeful keeping you'll ever see in a game. If you want a bit of a laugh, go and watch the keeping from that game. But that's one of them. Hull City was the other one that they drew recently, in between 2 losses as well. So yes, you're kind of right, but they need to be picking up points against. They need to be picking up 3 points against Sunderland if they're going to stay up this year, because they're the games that they can win.
But when I've seen them, they've at times been unlucky. I think their first few games should have yielded more points. How they didn't put. There's one game, I can't remember who they're playing, where I don't know how they didn't put the ball in the back of the net, and they ended up losing 1-0, I think. So as I say, I think they're where you'd expect them to be. They're doing what's expected of them. I think they'll stay up. I actually think they'll stay up, and I think it'll be a tough game Saturday.
I don't doubt they'll be well, actually, I'm about to contradict that. I think they're a tough team, but I think if we start the way I know we can, if Snodgrass and Adoma attack down the wings the way they can, and whoever's playing that number 10, whether it's Grealish, whether it's Onuma, is firing on all cylinders, you know, if we can engage Keenan Davis, then that's a complete game changer, because when he plays well, the team plays well.
I see this as being like the Bolton game at home. I think the defenders will try and rough Davis up. They'll foul him. They'll drag him down. They'll try and go as long as they can without picking up a booking. I think this is going to be a real hard game. And one thing I'm worried about, that I've briefly discussed in the podcast and in the review of the Leeds game, teams like this, they will do their homework, because they'll look for every edge they can get, and they will have spotted that set plays defensively, Villa haven't been great since John Terry's not been there. We've looked susceptible. So I think they'll be trying to pump long balls. They'll try and take advantage of set play. So I actually think it's going to be a really, really difficult game. I mean, Millwall have got just over 2,000 away fans coming to the ground. They're going to sing loud and proud and get behind their team. The players are going to be up for it, a chance for them to play probably at a ground that not many of them have played at before, a big ground like Villa Park. They'll be trying to get the crowd up for it there, and they'll be trying to get the Villa fans against them, wind the Villa fans and players up. I just think it's going to be a really, really hard game. I've got this down as a big banana skin, to be honest. Yeah,
well, I mean, it could be. You know, they're 17th at the moment, Millwall, and as I say, I don't think they're in brilliant form, but they are coming off the back of a great win against one of our kind of playoff rivals, if you like, at the moment, Sheffield United, and they will be a tough team to break down. I think we just need to be sensible. I think we've got the quality that will outplay Millwall. And you're right, we are susceptible from set pieces. But let's not give away those silly set pieces that we have been prone to be doing. You know, the foul, I think it was Snodgrass on Friday night, who gave one away on the right hand side. Hutton gave a couple away. If we can stand up and just play the way that we can, then I don't think that'll be a problem. I really think that when we're playing expansive attacking football, then we'll be solid. They do have a decent midfield of it. George Somerville plays for Northern Ireland. I must admit I haven't watched much Millwall, but I have watched a little bit of Northern Ireland recently, and he does seem like a quite a good prospect, and he's scored a few goals as well. I think he's scored 5 or 6 goals in the Championship this season, which is decent for a team that have so far struggled to pick up major points.
They've got the guy Gregory up front. I was listening to Neil Harris after the Sheffield United game saying that Lee Gregory has played the best football of his career under him for the last few months and hasn't scored, whereas before he was scoring lots of goals and perhaps not offering as much in his all-round play. So he scored against Sheffield United, so he's going to be buzzing going into the game, and hearing his manager say he's playing the best football is obviously going to be a good thing for him to hear. In these kind of games, you're saying about us playing the expansive football. Sunderland at home, Bolton at home. I'm thinking of we haven't played on the front foot. We haven't played that expansive football in the games at time. Those games at times have been uncomfortable, and I think this could be another uncomfortable day. But
we got the result against Sunderland, and I think
Bolton, yeah,
and at Bolton, of course, yeah, and I think if they come at us, which I agree, maybe they won't, maybe they'll sit back and they'll try and contain the game. But if we can take the game to them, put them under pressure. I want to go back actually to what you said there about they're going to be rough and ready and beating up on Keenan Davis maybe a little bit. I actually think that's where he plays best. He likes being in a game, and if the ball's coming to him, he's got the skills not only with his upper body, his chest and his head, but also with his feet, that he can hold off rough defenders. I don't think that's a problem. He's grown up in the lower leagues, and he knows how to deal with defenders like that, and I think he'll do that no problem. So actually I kind of hope that they do try and play him at that game, because that won't work for him.
Well, I just remember that Bolton game. He didn't have a good day, Davis, and they were tugging him down, pushing him around. Yep. And he didn't have a good game. That game stayed in my memory. I think the key man. I mean, we'll come on to what we think the team's going to be, etc. But if it is a rough game and you've got someone like Jack Grealish who is hard to get the ball off, he could be key, because just him driving into the box, maybe winning a penalty. The Bolton game came down to a penalty winner from Kodjo. I just think Grealish is going to be vital in this game, because they'll be scared of him, because he, like you say, he should be too good for a team of Millwall's level, although they will raise their game because the game's at Villa Park against a big team. But someone like Grealish is going to be crucial. Adoma, the tricky players, they're the ones that you said, like you said with Snodgrass and Adoma attacking from the flanks. The tricky players are going to have to be on their games, because it could come down to winning a penalty, and that wins us the game on Saturday. We
talked about it a little bit in the podcast. How do you feel about... Obviously, Lansbury and Grealish played well on Friday night. We'll come on to our teams, like you say. Do you think it's time for them to start the squad rotation? We've obviously had a long period between the Friday night game and then this Saturday game against Millwall. So the players aren't necessarily that tired because of this week's exertion. But do you think it's the right time to introduce a few new faces?
I think with rotation, it doesn't always come down to whether players are tired.
Yeah.
Lansbury and Grealish are going to be higher in confidence off the back of that last game than Onoma and Horahan. So you play them. They've earned the right to wear that shirt in the next game by coming on and gaining Villa a point, because we weren't gaining a point without them two coming onto the pitch. I think we would have lost the game. They turned it and changed the game. Grealish especially, even though Lansbury scored the goal. So for me, Horahan and Onoma, I mean Onoma's had an injury, but Horahan especially has had a lot of football since the end of August. So anytime you can take them out and put in a player that's buzzing and ready to go and has done well in the last game, you take that chance, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I do agree, but at the same time, I think what we've seen so far from Bruce is that he knows what he likes, and he may be reluctant to change just a little bit. And I wonder if he's gonna keep introducing. I see what you're saying, and I wonder if he's going to use Lansbury and Grealish again off the bench and hopefully have that same impact. Hopefully we won't be in that position, but just kind of keep reintroducing them. It's something that we've talked about before with the under-23s players as well, maybe not seeing them as much as maybe would have liked to at this point. Bruce is happy with his team and his first 11.
Yeah.
And it even happened with El Mohammadi, who was playing at right back, wasn't he? And then Hutton kind of got his chance at left back, and he proved to Bruce kind of that he was a Bruce kind of player.
Yeah.
And since then, Hutton hasn't been moved.
I mean, it's not really. It follows on a little bit from what you've just said. I thought Neil Taylor had a couple of dodgy games since he came back in, but I thought he was back to his best against Leeds. I think Grealish will 100% start. Lansbury, I'm 90% sure he'll start, and that's what I'd do. I'd change it.
One thing I would like to see, and I touched upon it just briefly, Jordan Archer in goal for Millwall. I saw Neil Harris a couple of weeks ago after that calamitous 2-2 draw with Sunderland. He came out in defence of Archer and was like, it's kind of the time you need to put your arm around this kind of player. As a goalkeeper yourself, obviously not quite the same standard.
Well, I was that day.
Yeah, you were that day, yeah. How much is it different being a goalkeeper to being an outfield player? Because the psychology is a little bit different, where you've got to get over these performances.
I mean, I think it's worth pointing out that Archer, I don't think he's a dodgy keeper.
Yeah.
Other times I've seen Millwall play, he's looked very astute to me, just had a terrible day at the office, and that's the difference. If you're a goalkeeper and you have a bad day at the office, it's there for everyone to see. You can't do anything that's really going to make up for it because you'll just be remembered for the mistakes. If you're a striker and you miss a sitter, you've got a chance to redeem yourself. You put the ball in the back of the net. That's what's remembered. You've scored the goal. You've scored the winner. But I've got to be honest. When I was playing 11-a-side goalkeeper, I hated it. I used to worry so much about making a mistake, and I think you have to be a certain type of person to be a goalkeeper. And I think we've seen over the years some goalkeepers make mistakes, and we've seen it at Villa, and they don't recover from it. I remember Scott Carson being on loan at Villa. He was doing well, and then he made that horrific mistake for England, and he was never the same afterwards. Guzan was a good keeper at a point for Villa, and then he made a couple of mistakes, bad distribution, and he never recovered from it. Your keeper has to be able to bounce back from mistakes. I mean, look at De Gea. He made some mistakes when he first joined Man U, and then you look at him last week against Arsenal, absolutely phenomenal, putting on a goalkeeping clinic. So you have to be of a certain mindset as a keeper, and that's why I don't think I would have ever made it, because I don't think I had that mental toughness.
Everything else was there. It was just
I had the raw capabilities, Tom. Just it was the mental side of the game for me.
And I guess we should point out that in between that 2-2 draw, there's been a couple of games since, and Archer obviously in goal for the 3-1 win as well against Sheffield United.
But like you say, you'll remember the mistakes, and that's unfortunate for you.
And do you think that's something that the Villa crowd will kind of pounce upon, that they'll give him a bit of grief for that, or do you think no?
Because Sunderland keeper, we played Sunderland straight after that 2-2 game. The Sunderland keeper probably made 2 worse mistakes than Archer, and we just didn't test him. The crowd didn't get on his back, and the players didn't test him.
Should we be doing that?
Yeah,
making it uncomfortable.
Like I'm saying about Millwall, have done their research on Villa and seen that they're dodgy from long balls and crosses and set pieces in recent games. Yeah, you've got to do everything you can, even as the team that's seen as the favourites, which we will be. You should be getting every little advantage that you can get, just in case as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, go on then. We've alluded to it a little bit. What's the team that you'd start with?
I think it'll be the same team, other than I think Horahan will go out for Lansbury, and I think Onuma will go out for Grealish.
I actually think that I don't think he'll change it. I think he'll leave it the same. Not to say that I'd like that. I think I'd like to see Grealish play, because I think you're right. I think he can take the game to him, and it'd be interesting to see the relationship between Davis and Grealish start to hopefully blossom. The more that they play together, the better that will become, I think. But I just don't see Bruce changing it, because we didn't lose, and because he got the result he wanted from these players coming off the bench. I think he might keep it the same.
His natural instinct is to keep it the same. Bruce, like you say, he's got that settled 11 in his mind that he wants to pick when he can. But I just think Grealish should be chomping at the bit, and I know the type of character Grealish is as well. He'll be in Bruce's ear to pick him this weekend, and he'll want to show him something, and Bruce will expect him to show something if he does play. I said it in the review video, Grealish is the best natural footballer at Villa, in my opinion. There's stuff he can work on and stuff he can do better for sure, but you just saw when he came on and he played in that proper number 10 role, he was light years ahead of anything else on that pitch, really. So let's get him in that 10 position. Let's tell him when he gets the ball, don't slow it down, drive, go forwards. He excites me when he plays, and if we get him on top form, he'd be absolutely pivotal to a promotion push, automatic push. While
you're excited then, score prediction, what are you thinking?
Well,
the excitement's deflated.
Luckily, I'm usually wrong about these things. There's something in it that just tells me that this game's going to be a tough one. I'm going to go for 2-2.
For 2-2?
Yeah, I'm going to go for 2-2. I just think it will be an up and down game, and I just think Millwall are going to be so up for it. And I think it will be a struggle. I think I predicted a draw when we went through our podcast predictions.
I think that seems a bit harsh on Johnston, because
Johnston?
Yeah, Sam Johnston's conceding 2. I just don't see it.
That's not necessarily his fault if he concedes 2, is it?
Well, no, but I just don't see him he hasn't made any massive mistakes for me. I think when 2-2.
QPR a few weeks ago, I'd say it was his fault. Although in the main he's been superb.
Oh, well, yeah, but I think that ball should have long gone before it got to him. Or maybe he should have been the one to.
I just think 2-2, Tom. That's what I think.
Well,
I'm not going to argue with your prediction.
No, well, you might do. I'm going to go for a 3-0 win. I feel very confident. I feel like if Villa can play the way that they have shown that they can play in the last month or so, then there's no reason why we can't really take this game by the scruff of the neck and show that we are capable of getting that second place. I don't think we're going to win the league, but I think we can definitely compete for second spot and the second automatic promotion place.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope you are right, Tom, and let's hope that we do win 3-0. Obviously, I'd rather that happened than us draw 2-2. Have you got a first goal scorer on fan score?
I haven't got one, but let's go for Keenan Davis. I haven't got fan score.
No, still.
No, I
not
thought
a good ambassador for the channel, Tom.
I thought it was too late. I wasn't told. I wasn't told at the start.
I'll be doing these previews and not having fan score.
Oh, do you want me to get on?
Oh, please.
Okay, Keenan Davis.
I would want you to as well.
Who would?
I'm sure. Fan score.
Oh, right.
I'm going to go for. I'm just going to pick a Millwall player for first goal. Lee Gregory.
Okay.
Yeah, just be a bit different. Try and move myself up the league.
Oh, good
Well,
luck.
I'm starting to. I think I'm in the top 200 now, so not all bad.
No, good for you.
Not that sounds great.
How many are there?
Not sure. 600 odd, maybe.
So I'll be starting at 600th.
Yeah, but are you only have to get a couple of things right and you'll be ahead of Rolinson.
Yeah, well, that's true.
He's awful. I think that's it.
That's
it for the preview. So thank you very much for tuning in. Do go back and check the podcast that was released on Wednesday. If you haven't managed to watch that yet, it should be a good watch or listen depending on your platform choice. If you're not a subscriber to the Villa View already, then make sure you do that with your post notifications on. We'd all really appreciate that. It does help the channel grow, and we appreciate all the support that we've been given so far this season. Comment below with your predictions and team selection predictions as well. How are you doing in the Fan Score League? Do let us know in the comments. Stick with the channel, stick with the Villa, up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.